Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line.
That's right.
Cariol Horne.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you, Charlamagne.
No, man, it's a pleasure, especially being that we here talking some really, really, really good news. First of all, we got to tell them Cariol Horne's story. You know, she's a former Buffalo police officer who back in the day, she stopped a fellow cop's chokehold on a suspect.
Correct.
Which they terminated you for, right? Am I explaining that correctly?
Well, he doesn't like to be called a suspect. His name is Neil Mack. All of his charges were dropped.
I'm sorry, Neil. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But they fired you for that.
Yeah.
For doing the right thing.
He was saying he couldn't breathe, right? And you actually stepped in and physically.
In 2006, he said he couldn't breathe.
And what did the department let you go for? What was their reasoning for letting you go?
They made up a story that I jumped on the officer's back, which was impossible because there was a suspect between us and we were face to face. So they basically said that I just went there and just was out of control.
And they took your pension away. You were fired, and you had to fight and fight and fight and damn near sue to get everything back. So what happened now? Where are we at now?
So then in September, the council passed Cariol's law, which is the duty to intervene. It was a law that I wrote in 2016, and I just did not know how to get it passed. So Terry Watson, the founder of Strategies for Justice, he helped along with my team. They helped me get that passed. And it actually was an effort with protesters and everybody chipped in to help get that law passed. So then the mayor signed it like a month later. And then yesterday, the judge ruled for me because we filed a lawsuit. The attorneys, I have awesome attorneys also. They filed the lawsuit, and yesterday the judge came back with a decision and to give me my pension.
Hey,
That's right.
Overturn the firing, and so I'm pension eligible. That's the term I'm supposed to use, pension eligible. And what is it?
What about back pay?
Yeah, I was going to say that. So you.
Okay, so with back pay, I was fired in 2008. The Supreme Court hearing for the to have the termination overturned was in 2010. So it's 2 years back pay, and for the rest of it, I have to speak with the attorney so I can give you the proper terminology.
Mm-hmm. I want to revisit though back then, because what we're seeing right now while we're watching this Derek Chauvin case, right, and what's happening with him is how many people that were witnesses wish they could have intervened or done something to stop Derek Chauvin from killing George Floyd. And you actually did intervene. So can you tell us what was going on in your mind at that time?
There was a man named Mark Virginia who was killed by the Buffalo police. And that's what I thought of when I saw him choking Neil Mack. I thought of Mark Virginia, where there were other officers there and nobody stopped the chokehold to save his life. So that's actually what I thought of. And so, I yelled to him, "Greg, you're choking him." And then when he didn't stop, that's when I decided to step in, grab his arm. And that's all I did was grab his arm from around his neck. But then by the time they finished with the story, he said I did a whole
it doesn't matter. You're a hero.
That's right.
Okay, you did
Absolutely.
exactly what we would want any police officer to do in that situation.
Correct.
And you know what? Didn't that same police officer end up going to jail for something else after that?
Yeah, he did. He choked another officer on duty, and then he banged the heads of 4 teens on a police car that he was arresting, and one of the teens was shot with a BB gun also. No. So in the George Floyd case, we saw that no officer did anything.
That's right.
And that's the purpose of Cariol's law. Mm-hmm. It's the Cariol's law duty to intervene, because then it's a law that you have to intervene. But we need to make it a national law, because it makes no sense to just have it here in this city where an officer here can move to another city and get on that department. We actually needed a federal law. So it's great that it started here, but it needs to be a federal law. And you can go to cariolslaw.com and get all the information to jump on board for that.
You
Now,
know
we
what's
also have
crazy?
Ron Sullivan.
Hold on one second. You know what's crazy? You have to have a law in place for officers to do what they say they're supposed to do, which is protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't want any other officer to go through what I had gone through for doing the right thing. So I tried to figure out what a solution would be, because you hear the problems all of the time. So I wanted a solution, and what will force the officers to do it. Because if you don't force them, a lot of them are still not going to do it because they don't want to cross over that blue line. So that's why I thought of the law. So now that we have the law and they have to do it, then it's important to get it passed throughout the country. And my attorneys are on.
Yeah, I see attorney. I see Ron
I see
Sullivan
him.
on.
I saw him when he popped up with the bow tie and that Law of America book behind him. I said, "Well, that's the attorney right
That's
there."
attorney.
Mhm.
Now, we were asking earlier, Ron, about, what happens now. Does she get a pension back? We were talking back pay, and is she an officer now? So can you break it down what exactly it is?
So actually, what happened with this ruling is she was reinstated until the date that she was fired. Basically, they put everything back as though it were 14 years ago. So she gets back pay for those 2 years, and that brings her up to 20 years of service, which makes her pension eligible. So we've got to do some stuff to do the paperwork for the pension, but she's back to where she was as though this ridiculous decision had not happened in the first place. We have to talk about later, what happens from 2010 to 2020, but
Yeah,
that's a
I was gonna say
separate
that.
conversation.
I was going to say that. Let's say she didn't want to retire. She should still be being paid for right now. Like, she's a cop. She should be paid for it right now.
Much more difficult question, but I hear you. We're going to deal with that.
Now, Ms. Horne, they're saying, I'm reading the headlines and they're saying that, you've been vindicated. Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel like this is justice?
To a certain point, yes. I think that the attorneys did an awesome job. They really did an awesome job. And I really didn't understand how he was working, but he was like, trust me on this, Ron. He said, trust me on this. And I was like, okay, I've been trying to fight it all of these years and I didn't get anywhere. So I have to trust them on this. And thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. And Intisar, is Intisar going to say anything?
Peace, Intisar.
Trying to get myself situated here. It was, I think this was justice a long time in coming, and we're so happy that Cariol has been vindicated now.
Now, what about that $65,000 judgment that he had won against you for defamation? Do you get that back with interest?
That's a great question.
We'll take that on too. So we're Cariol's lawyers for the long haul. But I think that was unjust as well. And to the degree anyone tries to enforce that, we will continue to represent Cariol.
Brother Ron and Sister Intisar, how difficult is it for y'all to go against a system like, the police in Buffalo, New York? Being a black man, being a black woman, clearly of Islamic faith, how hard is it going up against that system in Buffalo, New York? What kind of flack do y'all get?
There are positives and negatives to coming from outside of the system, but with a background like the one that I have and like the one that Ron has. So I've been working in the criminal justice system, had a very long running case, actually with my brother, that I wasn't going to back down from. Ron Sullivan and I teamed up on that case and found a theory of law that allowed us to correct past injustices, retroactively correct the record. And that actually ends up being the thing that won this case, or that the judge relied on in this case. So to me, I very much think that, it wasn't hard in a sense because of the long, deep history that we've had and the deep well that we could draw on from our personal experiences and from our legal experience to bring to bear on this case to help see Cariol to victory.
And look, the only thing I'll add to that is, we fight the system all the time and every day, and simply don't back down. Intisar and I are fortunate. We've got, next to you guys, we've got like the best job in the world. So we're professors at Harvard Law School. They can come at us. We've got job protection in a way that most people don't. So we go to jurisdictions all across the country and do this sort of work for people without fear of them punching, and they'll punch you, and but you get up and hit back, metaphorically speaking, of course. And so we're happy to represent Cariol. I'll mention we did it 100% pro bono. We thought this was wrong. It was an injustice, and we just don't like to sit silent when there's an injustice. So we'll be with her for the long haul.
All right, now don't have Ms. Horne hit me up talking about y'all trying to get back pay from her. Now pro bono mean pro bono, okay?
You get paid when she gets paid, right, out of the settlement. Is that
we didn't take anything, not even expenses. Cariol's been through enough, and I'm fine.
I love that.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Now, Cariol, I got to ask you, because this happened back in 2006, right? 15 years ago. Was there ever a point when you just felt like, and I'm sure you had to, that you would just never get justice because this was such a long time coming, and then it just felt like things started to pick up steam during the pandemic? But what was going on during that whole time for you mentally? How draining was that?
Oh, it was very draining. So I can't even lie and say that it's not. But if there is another officer that is going through the same thing, and a lot of them have contacted me. So it goes on more than what we know. And Clyde Kerr, I think he was from New Orleans, but I'm not exactly sure. He killed himself maybe a couple months ago because that was his way of letting the world know what is going on in the police department. And I felt horrible because I felt like we're out here and he doesn't even know it. And Nakaya Jones, she was the officer from Ohio, and she has 5 children and she's going through it. But, it's like we encourage each other because now we're connected at the hip. It's like we encourage each other and try to keep moving on. And like I said, Cariol's law needs to be a national law, because then we have the good officers want something to clutch on to so that they can do the right thing. So the bad officers can't say, no, we're going to do it this way. They'll be like, nah, I'm not going to jail for you. So Cariol's law works, and I am proof that it works.
Right.
Question, Ms. Horne, what do you think getting rid of qualified immunity, abolishing qualified immunity will do? Is that the solution?
I think that it's part of the solution. I think the unions are part of the problem. But with the qualified immunity, just like the officer who just shot Dante, is it Dante?
Dante,
Wright?
yeah, Dante Wright.
Dante Wright, she should absolutely go to jail because, but she's going to rely on qualified immunity, especially since she used to be union president. So she knows the ins and outs and the loopholes. But if I go and shoot somebody by mistake, I'm going to jail.
Right.
So she's been trained. So if you've been trained and this is what you do, then I don't know what to tell you. If somebody on the street did it, they would who hasn't been trained with a weapon, they would go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts when they say an officer, made a mistake and it was an honest mistake? She didn't mean to kill him. That wasn't her intention.
Well, that's where qualified immunity comes in. They say, oh, she only had a split second to think about what she did and it was an accident. We're going to give her qualified immunity. That's what they're banking on. But now that we know better, we do better.
Right.
Say, nah, it's not going to work here. Because if somebody on the street did it, you'd be locking them up.
Gotcha.
What does absolute justice look like for you, Ms. Horne?
If Cariol's law works for everybody in the country.
All right.
And if you get your pension?
I certainly want my pension, my full pension, all of the years. But at the same time, that's kind of being selfish. That's for me. I need it to work for everybody. I don't want to have gone through all of this
Mhm.
just for somebody else to have to go through the same thing.
Yeah, because I don't want people to think that this is over. I see people reposting and celebrating you as we should, but I don't want people to think that we're at the finish line just yet.
No, I'm still broken. That GoFundMe still works.
It's still up. Give it to him again. Give it to
No,
him.
it's a different one. It's not the one that you
Yeah,
have.
it's not the same way.
Because that one they went over to a different system, so I couldn't even use it no more. I was like, Dad, that's the one everybody know, but hey,
Did you get your money?
not yet. Ron can answer questions.
Ron,
about
why
that.
GoFundMe ain't give Ms. Horne the money yet?
Oh no, I got that money,
Oh, okay.
So that was a long time ago.
and it is good and spent. But I did get a house. I
Hey,
did.
how much did that end up getting? How much did that link end up raising?
100 and how much is it? 180.
Hey,
That's amazing.
Hey,
Well, give him the new link now.
It's on the website, cariolslaw.com. Cariolslaw.com.
so just send people to cariolaws.com. Cariolslaw.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go donate something right now, Ms. Horne. I always got your back 100%.
Listen, I totally appreciate you, and I'll be listening to you. I'll be like, God, this dude is kind of smart. Like,
Kind of.
all of y'all, because y'all
Sit right
have
with kind
all
of.
different guests on, and y'all relate to every single one of them.
Well, Cariol, we appreciate you, and we will continue to support you. And thank you for checking in.
And
this
thank
morning.
you, Ron. Thank you,
Ron.
Intisar, for
Yeah, thank
being,
Intisar as well.
black people that hold down other black people.
Absolutely, man.
We need more of that type of unity and group operation. Thank y'all.
It does give you some hope for justice and mankind. A little bit,
A little bit. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ron shed a tear yesterday.
You did, Ron?
Oh my goodness! I cried like a baby. I couldn't believe myself. I was so happy for Cariol. I mean, it had been so long, and she had gone through so much. We only met her about a year ago, and I did something that they tell lawyers not to do. I said, I told Cariol, I said, I'm gonna get this done for you.
Wow.
I told her, I said, this is going to happen, and
Wow.
And
a lot of sleepless nights, but congratulations, Cariol. This is you deserve it. Let me just add really quick, because Cariol was a little too modest. She had opportunities years ago to get kind of minor settlements in this, but she refused to do it because of the broader issue, because of Cariol's law. She said, it's not just about me. It's about a much, much broader issue. And that's a matter of principle. And that's one of the reasons that we took on this matter, because she is so principled. And you don't say that a lot. Most people are me. Cariol was like, it's not just about me. Other officers all over the country are facing this, and we've got to force them to be able to intervene when they see this kind of foolishness going on. So she just, she stood firm.
No,
and was
Ron.
homeless and everything, but she stood firm. And so thank you, Cariol. I'm sorry, bro.
No, Ron, you're absolutely right, because every single time Ms. Horne reaches out to me, it's never about her pension or anything going on with her. It's always about Cariol's law. It's, this is happening for Cariol's law. This march is for Cariol's law. This is for Cariol's law. So you're absolutely right. It's not a self-serving thing at all.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I just wanted to add that. So much love, Cariol.
You guys are a
we'll talk soon.
blessing.
thank you so much.